Yeah, I think that's fair in terms of quality chances. I thought was fair. We had a couple really good looks at times, especially in the first half that we let go. It's a difficult place to play. You know, you want to take your chances when you can take them, and it's unseasonably hot here right now. It's really warm, especially in the first half. Second half, a little cloud cover helped us out a bit. But yeah, I thought it was fairly even. Again, I think as the game progressed, I thought, our lines front to back got a little bit stretched out and there's a little bit too much space in between our lines and they were able to roll balls between us. So the game got more vertical than we kind of wanted it to be in the grand scheme of things, uh, which also means a lot of energy expense over the course of the game. But to come here on a day like this, at altitude, coming off an international break, and coming back from one down, missing a couple chances, it's for sure a worthwhile point for us today.
What do you think of Chicharito? Obviously, you gave him the start, and sort of what went into the thoughts of starting him versus bringing him off the bench.
Yeah, no, I thought his movement was good. I thought he linked up things. Obviously, he's a clever player, a smart player, so he reads things. I thought he looked good. I thought he gave us some experience that we needed on a day like today sometimes, and just holding up the ball and bringing some people in, and I thought his work was good. We've prolonged his recovery for a little while, so physically he was fine. We had played 11v11 this past week, last weekend, and he had played 45, and we knew that he was pretty comfortable for 45. And we wanted to split the game. I mean, it was kind of an initial thought that we would bring in three guys early into the second half or in the mid-second half, just because the challenge of the conditions and the heat and the altitude and everything else. We wanted to keep kind of a fresh group on there, which is really the main reason. But he felt okay physically, and he felt okay even from a fitness standpoint. It wasn't always the fastest paced game from end to end, so he wasn't having to sprint all over the place, and we weren't high pressing all over. We were a little bit high, but we weren't high pressing necessarily. So he was good, and he feels good now. And we know this is a busy week, so we didn't want to use up everything in one game, because we know we're coming home midweek, and that gives us, the more we save from him today, the more we get out of him probably on Wednesday, since it's been a little while since he played. So, but it was great to see him back out there again. He's an important piece to this group.
And finally, for me, so much sort of emphasis was put on the defense in your quote unquote 2 weeks off or 3 weeks during that 3 week stretch. How did you feel the defense worked for you today? How do you feel maybe it didn't work for you today?
Um, I thought we, I thought we survived, a challenging day, and again, there's still things for me that we need to be sharper at. Our movement, getting vertically to squeeze the space, our movement laterally. The goal comes from us not getting around and supporting the strong side center back with the weak side center back. And we went to five to try to close off some spaces, make the game less vertical, be a little bit tighter. And on the goal, we're all spread apart, and that stuff doesn't make sense to me. It's something, again, that we just have to be sharper. Again, as guys get fatigued, maybe we don't close those gaps as fast as we need to. But there was a few moments like that. I mean, I thought, the good news is there weren't a ton of great chances, and we, in the end, I hate saying it, but we gave up one goal. Last couple of games, we've given up three. So, so there's for sure, we covered territory a little bit better on a tough day. But I still think we've got to get a lot sharper to get to where we need to be in order to get zeros and to be a little bit more comfortable in terms of over the course of 90 minutes.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Something just happened. Oh,
all right. Next, we'll go to Jonathan Siegel.
Hi, Greg. What have you seen against teams of this caliber, at least in the standings from your team this year? How have you seen the Galaxy match up against clubs that, at least in theory, you guys are fighting for those top playoff spots with as well? How do you assess that kind of level of performance?
Yeah, again, I mean, similar to what I was describing, being more specific, but just in the grand scheme of things, we, as a group that's coming together, 17 new players, first time, we are playing teams that have been together for a while, who have experienced a lot of things, who are more mature as groups than our group. And So, I think these teams are a little bit tighter and the attention to detail and a little bit more in sync in terms of some of the things that they've done, which is, some of the things I was talking about in terms of our line moving laterally and vertically. And there's many, many, many details in the game that I think, we have to get sharper to be able to compete with the top teams right now. And we've done a good job like this game of getting a result out of it. And again, a difficult place to play, but to win these games, in a playoff environment or something, the details for us have to tighten up for sure. And we've got to get, more in sync as a group. Hopefully we can get some consistency in our group down the stretch and start to build on the repetitions that we'll have now that everybody's in. And, we're still going to have another international break coming up, but at least hopefully during this stretch, we can get some repetition together and tighten up a few things.
Next, we'll go to Larry Morgan.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking our questions.
Hi there.
The Galaxy hasn't had much of a track record of success playing at that park for the last few years. And knowing that, would this be the classic example what the coaches might call a good point?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I mean, it's coming off an international break where you're never quite sure what you're going to get because guys are coming from different places. And, with a team like the Galaxy, we have a lot of guys away and they're relatively new as a group. And then you get guys back physically, we're at different positions. We have Javier playing his first game, Jorge playing his first game for a while, Dan kind of getting his first real 90 minutes for a little while. So in a very difficult environment between the temperature and the time of day relative to also the humidity. So look, there are a lot of variables in this. And as you said, a lot of teams don't come up here and get many results or many points. This is a difficult place to play, one of the toughest in the league. And so for sure, I think it's a good point. It's one of the things we talked about in this game, that we leave here with one no matter what, but if we can get three, we get three. And the guys, they competed till the end and they got one out of it. And, it's a good point. It's also a good point in the standings. It puts us 4 away from the team behind us, and it keeps us still in touch with Colorado in the standings, So, today wasn't the day we made up ground, but we certainly didn't lose any. And we kept a good gap with Portland, at least for the time being, where they're 4 points behind us. So those are all positive things on the day.
Can you also talk about the sequence that led to the tying goal? Good recognition on the long ball too.
Yeah, it was for sure. It was good awareness. And I thought, there were times throughout the game where those opportunities were on and we shorted it. We hit the ball short and their center backs were able to not have to chase behind them, but were able to stop and head the ball back down in midfield and it came back at us. But I thought, at times our recognition of the depth and our attempt to try to run in behind from time to time was a little bit better today, especially against a 5 than it has been in the past. We've got to put the balls out in front of them a little bit and let guys run onto it, as Sam did. A couple of them we tried to look and we smashed them over them. Maybe that's a little bit of we hit them too hard. Just maybe that's a little bit of altitude or a little bit of excitement. But I thought that moment was an important moment because that was one of the ways you can get through on a team like this is, one forward checks, one takes off and you can drop a ball behind. And Sam did a great job of getting good wood on that shot and putting it in a tough place for the keeper to keep it out of the goal. So, credit to Sam also on just the way he took it. He took that ball in stride and on the run too. He didn't slow down much, which, led his momentum into the finish. So it was good by Sam.